The thing, sorry, Sheldon. One of the things you're talking about just now was, can you just repeat it? This is about what's in it for me.
For me, yes. So, in the mindset of a person, everyone wants to know how would it benefit me.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have those questions based double standard, as in a sense as how it will benefit them
Mm-hmm.
and us in return. So the information will be. It will let us. Our purpose is to benefit, make us more reliable, and be able to keep a better storage. But then, in case of something, we need a personnel to do a service, which is will be paid service. If we get the information, so we're letting them know. Okay, we collecting this information. So when we have something that we don't give it to the wrong person or give it to an outside source, we keep it in-house, we give it to a solution, we'll get the job to do whatever that needs to be done.
Okay. So going back then, so there's, in terms of this project, it's just two things really. There's a case of, okay, what's the survey questions going to look like? And secondly, how are we going to get the survey questions, or how are we going to promote this project to the diaspora?
Well,
Now you've got, okay, we're talking now then about stakeholders, and we can actually scribble some stuff down now. So in terms of the stakeholders of the project, but when I say stakeholders, I mean the people that will be affected, who input into the project or who receive information from the project. And I think that's kind of like a good enough. It's a nice pen. So one of the stakeholders is going to be the HC himself.
Yeah.
Another one is going to be the HC office. A third stakeholder. Now, okay, I know that in terms of limitations, we're looking at the diaspora in the UK. It may well be that, okay, once this is launched, there's another thing for say New York or for Europe or what have you, but really we're trialing this out. We don't know how it's going to work. I know that the Jamaican one started and it was abandoned, yes, so it's a case of, okay, I don't know whether it's worth our while talking to the Jamaican HC about the project,
yeah.
Or so that's a question that we need to kind of like, that's a question basically. So in terms of a question, do we talk with the JAHC about their project?
Because the question I've been getting a lot lately now is because since it's the school that has offered me the placement is BPP, there's a huge level of solutions going to that university.
Okay.
And they met with the High Commissioner on Friday, and one of the questions they were asking is, okay, we are here, we do part-time jobs, but what are the opportunities leaving school here, leaving the university here? What can you offer us being here in the UK? Can we get work placements? Do you all have job opportunities? Do you all have partnerships in the UK that can facilitate hiring?
Okay, so therefore one of the objectives is around that's a vision really. One of the visions is providing two St. Lucian overseas graduates full-time jobs, part-time jobs, internships, placements, okay.
And then the next one is persons back home calling in vice versa, asking about what scholarships for higher education back here, down here. So can they get, and which schools would be offering scholarships? Because we have Commonwealth scholarships all the time. Letting to dispersing that information, letting the opportunities known to St. Lucians back home, opportunities up here. So it goes both ways.
So what I've got here is identify scholarships and grants and fellowships to St. Lucians in St. Lucia who wish to study in the UK. One of the things I was talking to your dad about was he was mentioning what he would want to do is, in terms of the brand St. Lucia, is to almost kind of like market St. Lucian sports people or St. Lucian business people or art people to companies or schools in the UK. And two things I mentioned to him is the fact that you have got, I was saying that independent schools is probably the schools that he needs to target. Because by independent schools, people have got money to send their children to schools. And on a yearly basis, a lot of these schools take their children, particularly sports people, rugby. They take them on rugby trips to different countries. Yep. They take them on cricket trips and football trips to different countries. So if kind of like, you can target independent schools to say, well, hey, in St. Lucia, we've got cricket teams, we've got rugby teams, we've got sports teams. Why not consider bringing your school to our country?
And then in return, you offer some places in your school so that we can get some like 2 or 3 scholarships.
Yes.
In your school, and then we will offer, when you come down to St. Lucia, we can help you organize your trip and see how we can collaborate with you.
Now that may be kind of outside the scope of this project. However, I did say it because I did give him an example because my sons go to private school, so I know kind of how they work, and I was giving him an example of let's see now. A couple of years ago, because our school's big into rugby. That's kind of like one of them. Rugby, hockey, those kind of like soccer. And they were playing against a state school in rugby. Mm-hmm. But the coaches on our team were so impressed by the 2 of the forwards who were playing on the opposite team, and they're twins. Yes. Do you follow rugby at all? Not really. But okay, yeah. But I mean, the forwards, big guys. After the match, what they basically did, they offered those twins boarding scholarships to study at the school. Yeah. And they found them by playing against them. And that's how they find a lot of players and bring to the school. Cool, yeah. Yes? Marlon Yard, who plays rugby he plays professional rugby. He's a solution from Castries. I actually kind of gave him, after your dad took his name down, in terms of contact, because he's a professional rugby player and he played, he got a scholarship at the school.
Oh, okay.
There's lots of kind of like, I think there's another guy, the white guy, he's been in the news recently. He's a player, so he's always in the news with this girl he's gone out with, that girl he got out with, what have you. But again, how he was discovered was playing rugby for an opposite team. The school liked him, brought him on board, and so I think he played for England as well. Oh. So certainly, kind of like what this vision is achievable. And I mentioned to your dad that we normally get ambassadors visiting the school. So therefore, we've actually got a Japanese garden in the school. and it was opened by the Japanese ambassador.
Ambassador.
The school hosts a yearly kind of like Young Musicians of the Year at the schools, an annual event, and a lot of Eastern Europeans, musicians, and we use it as a way of getting musicians. It's a business.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things you'd recognise anyway in terms of the fact that, well, okay, schools operate like businesses.
Yeah.
And
Very
they
much
utilise
so.
business practices. So certainly kind of like this is something that has got legs and can work. And certainly I'm hearing what the Prime Minister had to say when he was here last month about kind of like looking, I think he's a businessman as well.
Yep.
So he's kind of like, his mindset is in the same, marketing.
Marketing, yep.
Yes? So marketing. So certainly kind of like, okay, so we've got kind of like, okay, things that we can do for St. Lucians who are studying here, and things that we can do for St. Lucians who wish to study here.
Yep.
That's really what. So yeah, so certainly kind of like, certainly we can look at that. So in terms of stakeholders then, we've got kind of like the HC St. Lucia, HC office St. Lucia as well. We've got kind of like, okay, the JA High Commission, and we've got a question in terms of, okay, do we feel it beneficial or useful just to have a half an hour conversation with them about the project that they were doing, and we can get things up, what went well, what didn't go well, what are the hints and tips if they were to do it again, how would they do things different? Are there lessons that we can learn? If it's not working, why didn't it work? But I do know that what they have got now is an organisation called the Jamaica Diaspora UK.
Okay.
They've got a website. I went on the website over the weekend. Okay, there isn't any recent stuff here, but there is a
Working website.
And then the question will be, it's not a question, I'm not saying yes or no, but the question will be, at the end of this, are we looking at setting up a...
we have a website here, you know that. We have a St. Lucian High Commission website, which it does it is really, because the guy upstairs really works on it and tries to update it as frequent as possible, and we have activities and stuff, but then with what we're looking at here, will look independent to the website.
That's correct. We'll ask that question anyway. We'll ask two questions. Whether kind of like there's a one of the end results.
We'll be able to maybe better equip the website.
There's two things. One of the end results would be an organisation called St. Lucia. We're not answering these questions, we're just kind of like listing them out. St. Lucia Diaspora UK.org. That's one question. Another question is, I know that on the Jamaica High Commission they've actually got a page called the Diaspora. And it's a case of, okay, whether on the St. Lucian website here, you've got a page called the Diaspora. And on that page called the Diaspora, you can actually kind of promote kind of like what we're doing, or make people aware of the fact that there's a survey that is running. So when people kind of visit the website, we can do our survey.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily need to go in SurveyMonkey, or we can go in SurveyMonkey to do the survey. But if people are visiting the website,
You can send them from one side to the other.
Yeah. Again, that's just a question. Yes. Okay, right. So in terms of stakeholders, so we've got kind of like these the various. We've got a list of St. Lucia associations.
But would the GA be a stakeholder per se, or just
Sorry.
the GA High Commission? Would it be a stakeholder per se, or it would just be someone that we will get information from?
Well, we'll get information from them. So when I say stakeholders, there's people that will be impacted by this project. So the actual kind of solutions who are actually filling out the questionnaire. There are people that will input into the project.
Would it be the diaspora?
It will be the diaspora, and it will be if we do decide that we want to talk to the JA, then they will be a stakeholder because they'll be input into the project with ideas, with thoughts, with kind of like what to do, what not to do. And there'll be those that will be there will be an output from the project. So, these people here, in terms of these graduates, they will kind of be a beneficiary. They won't necessarily kind of fill out the questionnaire, but in terms of the information that we gather, then they will kind of like benefit from that information that we've got.
Yep.
That kind of, Sorry, I'm trying not to talk computer. A lot of it's kind of, this is computerized. So if there's tons that you don't understand, then please kind of like, I haven't had a meeting in a long while, and when I was to talk, it was all about project speak. So we got our own language, yes? So, okay, so list of St. Lucia associations. So they're going to be a stakeholder in the project in terms of, they may well advertise what we're doing to their database. In terms of the questions that we're kind of like raising, we'll be asking people to contribute as to what questions should we would be asking, or the question that we are asking, are you happy with those questions? Are you happy with the way that we framed it? Yes? It occurred to me this morning that there's a question we've got to ask is when do we start to tell people about what we're doing? Because it will become political. People will be saying, why is he doing it? Why aren't I doing it? The associations, as I kind of see it, will be asking, well, why aren't we doing this?
We as in...
The associations.
Associations.
Yes. Yes. Once kind of like, once people start seeing you do something, people want to...
Question.
People want to question or people want to do?
Themselves. Yep.
Yes. So this can become political, because people will see this as a political tool. It's not.
It's not, but then they will try to make it.
Yes. So we've got to be careful in terms. So that's in terms of the change management, how we actually kind of like promote and market it and explain this
what
change.
It is, yeah.
Yes. In terms of stakeholders, in terms of media. Because again, we were talking about, how are we going to communicate what we're doing? Now, the Voice newspaper is the largest newspaper, whether you agree with what they write or not, they are the largest here. And it would be an idea, when they're ready to launch, that they actually have an interview with His High Commissioner, so he can actually explain why he's looking to do it, what the benefits are to the country, and it's not just about us getting remittances. There's bigger things. So there will be like a series of interviews. I kind of think that will be quite useful. A series. I don't know, kind of like, again, whether your dad's up to it, but a series.
We have a media team as well. That's
excellent. Okay, so therefore, so the St. Lucia media team, yes. Yeah. So therefore, they will be a stakeholder in this as well.
The government, we have our government personnel that does different media. Events and cover it.
So therefore, so we'll need to bring them on board in terms of they can advise how best, how best to do this. And again, kind of like in terms of stakeholders, the social media outlets, because a lot of young people, they use Facebook. Well, not. It's kind of funny because
and WhatsApp.
Sorry.
And WhatsApp.
Well, it's kind of funny because when I. At the event, I took photos of the Prime Minister and various other people that were talking, and I shared it on my Facebook page. Immediately, I started getting people saying, "Well, why didn't you tell me about this meeting? Why didn't you tell me about this meeting?" Kind of like, who was invited to this meeting? I'm thinking, well, when I normally put anything political on Facebook, no one's interested. So I thought, so there's a lot of people who would be interested in this, and you could use social media to.
That's what we want to, and one of the reasons of this too is those persons that will not normally get an invite to those is tapping them so that we could be able to better invite them and keep them with the different projects that we are doing here. So like, look, we have our church service coming aboard next week, I believe, the Independence Church service. How would we be able to invite all St. Lucians? Because the more St. Lucians that are invited, the better turnout we have. That's the whole purpose of having having the events. And make St. Lucians feel that they have a place here that they can call their own, that they can come and speak to us when they have problems, if they need help. That's the whole purpose of the High Commission. And to facilitate all the government's runarounds and
well, certainly kind of like, okay, the list that you've got at the moment, because I received an email the other day regarding the church service.
Yes. I was there when we sent them out.
So therefore, that's good because it means that the database is being utilised. Yes. Yeah. So again, it's a case of okay, you can tell people to share this amongst their social media friends.
Yeah, but then it's how efficient that is.
Yeah, I think what we're doing is like you've got two work streams. You've got the future, but you've got the here and now.
Yep.
And in the here and now, what can we do until this thing is done?
Yep.
Yes. So in terms of the here and now, it's really a case of sending out to people and saying share with your Facebook friend. A lot of people don't know that the St. Lucian High Commission has a page on Facebook, because that's how I got to find out about the event with the PM. The letter was actually put onto
the page,
but a lot of people aren't aware that this page exists. So again, it's a case of making people aware that this page and inviting them to join the page. Yes, and this is kind of the reason why. So you've got enough kind of things at the moment that you can actually utilize. Okay, this is kind of like around. Okay, this project is around consolidating people's views in one area rather than say comments on various things. Yes, so this is like the first survey, and it may well be that a survey is done every 5 years to ensure that I'll get something else actually. Okay. Okay, so I've got here, in terms of the future, survey to be repeated every 3 to 5 years. Now, you can actually kind of set the timescale in line with elections, kind of like a couple of years before the elections. So therefore, if you've got a new team coming in, this is the recent,
I think 3 years would be fine. So let's not go 5, because when you start asking questions so close to election time, they will say it's a political. They're trying to get information about.
And again, that's a fair challenge, and that's kind of that's a risk.
Yes.
What you're really kind of what you're.
Because then we wouldn't get the factual information because people will be afraid to share. Personal.
So that's that's something we're going to put into this document, because we have got a risk, which is the political ramifications of this.
Every 3 years is fine because it's in the middle of a term of power. So no matter which way it goes, it doesn't affect the information, the legitimacy of the information that we get, or people will not be biased to answering the questions.
It determines it. Is it 4 years or 5 years? Kind of what is? Is it 5 years? So the elections, when were they held? Was it which month was they held last year?
It was June 6th. But what happened? They called it wasn't even constitutionally the time. They called it earlier than it was supposed to. But this government. So if you look at, they're going to take it from June 6th was the election. They won the election. So 5 years from now is when its constituents where it's called for.
Okay, so that's 2016, 2021.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Same.
That's for 2019. Okay, good. Right, okay, so we've got kind of, so in terms of stakeholders, okay, so we've got, the diaspora
Yeah,
themselves.
that's a major stakeholder there.
Mhm. Okay. That's it for now then, isn't it, really? This list will kind of like, we'll expand upon this, because everyone's going to have like a role and responsibility. So that's kind of like one reason why you're kind of putting down who our stakeholders are going to be. Okay, let's see what else I've got on. Have you got any questions?
But do you think you're going to do it under a company's name, or who would be running the show per se?
I think it should be the
High Commission.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to be. I don't want to be seen. to be honest, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be doing any speeches. I don't want to be. That's not why I'm kind of like doing this. It's the High Commission is doing something for the diaspora in this country. Yes, and acting as a conduit, acting as a funnel of information. So people who are here are more informed about what's happening in St. Lucia. And kind of like people in St. Lucia are more kind of like can get information from us about things. Yes. So again, as an assumption, the St. Lucia High Commission will own, manage, final authority, maintenance, so basically I've got here, the St. Lucia High Commission will own, manage, have final authority, maintenance for the project and any intellectual property that comes out from the project. Yes? You okay with that? Yeah. Is again kind of like when if there is a change of government at the next election, it's a case of in terms of a handover from one administration to the next, in terms of transition, this is kind of like they will have that and they can build upon it, they can amend it, they can do what have you, but they will have like a list
of ownership.
Yeah.
It's not any one person
No.
that they have to be calling or asking, and this is the High Commission.
So of course, in the real world sort of stuff, this is good information to have. So particularly if kind of like hang on, let me pause this.